Hello, you wolves out there, and welcome back to another episode of Moss. Last episode, Quill and the Reader traveled through the mire, beating down enemies and solving complicated puzzles. The duo exited the mire victorious with only a few minor scratches. Landing on the beach, the duo run into Adurin, our winged friend. There, the three lay next to a fire and catch some well-deserved rest. Today, we make our way down another treacherous path and enter a desolate town once inhabited by Quill's people. Sit back and enjoy another episode of Moss. Welcome back. So at this point, we've just recovered, waking from our slumber, and Adurin is gone. So that distant castle out there on the cliff precipice.
High on a distant bluff was the castle, a stark reminder of what mattered most. Quill drew a deep breath and readied herself for the journey ahead.
Castle is our destination. It is where we are going to try to get to. And as we awoke on the beach, if you recall from the last episode, Adurin said that he was going to go ahead and check on the castle. So it was clear that he was going to leave, and he has done just that. Now Quill and the Reader are on their own once again. Ew, sticky. So that green residue is actually residue that comes from a newer enemy that we haven't encountered yet so far. These guys, Tickers. You get a bunch of these guys together, they can be extremely tough. As you can see, they build up this plasma in their back and then they erupt. And they do pretty significant damage. Now usually, I would just kind of rush through these guys. I wouldn't take so much time trying to guide them and do different things. There is a trophy that if you can kill a certain enemy with these Tickers a certain number of times, you can get the trophy, but it's really, for some reason, it seems to be really hard to do. Because these guys take approximately 4 hits to the guys in the red. I forget their technical names. But you get a trophy for killing them, or killing a certain number of them, and I think I've done it once. So, it's like, I tried desperately in this walkthrough to do it, but unfortunately it put me in a very bad predicament where I almost died here. As you can tell, I got hit not that long ago, and I haven't even healed yet. Because there's so many enemies. And still trying to accomplish the task. So maybe I killed one there. But I'm not certain. So, I technically didn't need to drop down and get those boxes, because you can open up that gate to go and get those boxes. But I had forgotten about that through this walkthrough. Would have been able to go with those boxes at that point in time. So like if this were a speedrun, that would have been a very bad idea to have done, but I'm not a speedrun player, so I don't really care. But for future reference, for anyone who is interested in trying to get through the game as fast as possible, like you could just climb across first, open up the gate, go to the boxes, and then you're all set. And this, I didn't mention earlier, but this episode is probably going to be a little bit longer than the previous ones. Episode 1 and 2. Just about 15 minutes long, I would say. Episode 3 was about half an hour. This one was going to be about 40 minutes. So this puzzle is rather complicated, but these two switches perform different tasks. The one that the ticker is closest to actually raises and lowers the platform that Quill is currently on, and the trigger here obviously sends it left and right. So that's what I'm showing you guys there. So now, the goal is to raise Quill on that platform to get to that lever. I know it's hard to see from this point of view, but there are platforms down underneath there that you are able to get on, which is what I use right now with Quill. That allows you to go back and forth. And I apologize if I sound a little congested. I believe I'm getting sick. Or I am sick. I don't know. But I'm congested, so I apologize. So the stone wall's in our way, and we're using the ticker to blow it up, open up the path. It's simple. Puzzle complete. High five. So there's not a lot of narration in this particular episode, in this particular chapter of the story. Rather, there's a heck of a lot more puzzles. heck of a lot more. Hence the reason why this episode is lengthier than the previous one.
She'd seen this view before, in a drawing from her uncle's library. Being here made her heart flutter, and then sink. If the story of her family had been different, this would have been her home.
So that big machine there, that's covered in moss, and other foliage, is supposed to be a piece of technology, part of the defense system for this town, and clearly it's not in use. However, you will see one that is in use, and it's powered and controlled by the Arcane. You actually see a few of them, this being the first. So if my assumptions are correct, these were originally used by the creatures and creatures that Quill is familiar with and grew up with, and since the presence of the Arcane, they are no longer in their control and they're under the influence of the evil power of the Arcane. And they are incredibly dangerous, holy crap. When I first played through this game, they were really intimidating. We could see like I don't want to say family crest, but village crest all over the place. So you know that they previously inhabited this. Fun fact, I had to use some editing magic to make this look like I did it in one walkthrough. I actually died twice during this walkthrough. And restarted from the last checkpoint each time. It's because I forgot that I want to go left of this device before I go right. So you see that door on the right there. I want to go up those stairwell, or that stairwell, after I go through left. So there's a little opening on the left there. I didn't go through the first time. And that's important because there's a lever on that top level that allows me to manipulate and change those walls that are part of this rotating platform. You'll see that in a minute. That's really the only way to protect yourself with these walls, but there are two of them because you can't rotate this thing completely. You have to rotate it in a specific way so that the wall blocks your path. Hence the reason why you needed that second wall. And hence the reason why I died twice. It's very frustrating. Because other than that little lever over there, I remembered everything else. Yay for glitches in the wall. I say yay because, as you can see, the machine can see me, and had I not busted up those thorns earlier, it would have been a little bit more trying at this, from this position, to destroy those thorns. Doable, just more trying and difficult. Out of the fear of being blown to pieces. So another fun fact, when you play through this, don't destroy those pots there. Use those to jump onto, so you can jump down and get that scroll. Because otherwise you run into this. So you can't jump over the wall, but there is a small ledge that elevates you just slightly. That's really close to the rotating platform that I get onto, which allows me to jump down and get the scroll, but that would have been unnecessary had I just left the pots there, and I could have destroyed the pots later. So don't make that mistake that I made when you play through. So there's that slight elevation. Now I'm on top of the ledge. Of course I should have walked along the railing there, but nope, dropped down near thorns. Sometimes you just make bad decisions when you play, guys. You're not really thinking ahead. Especially when you play the game enough times, you think you're good enough that you don't have to think about those things, but you know, ego sets in. Yay for ego. Not. You can, there's a little gap here. Don't try to cross it without the wall. You will get blown up. Now we're moving on to the main village part. This is where her relatives, friends, used to live. I believe even including her, although they said that she recalls them from the stories. She may have actually lived here for a period of time. Even if as a infant or child. Calling a mouse child. I don't know what you would call that age of a mouse, but I'm going to refer to it as the child, because that's what we're most familiar with. So I'm breaking up a lot of the boxes and stuff here so that I don't have to worry about doing it later, because after going up those steps that we can see there with those really long tentacle looking things, I believe those are power cords. You have to come back down from those steps and then go into each one of these doors to collect the key. So I figured, yeah, I'm just going to break all this stuff first, not have to worry about it when I come back. Makes it more convenient. So that, I'm going to call it maybe it's appropriate to call those defense mechanisms sentinels. The one that's atop the stairs there is larger and clearly more powerful than the two that I just passed. Hence the reason why there are two power sources going to it.
Durin was back. Hey, kid. You took long enough. I found your uncle, but the Master Sentry's been activated. I'm trying to sort it out. This way.
So I did not run back willingly. It prevents you from going further, because with that door being open, the Sentinel has the ability to shoot you. So it forces you to go back until you take out those power sources.
My uncle? Is he okay? He's alive for now. We must act quickly. As long as that Master Sentry is watching, the path to the castle is a dead end. Maybe you two can find a way to shut it down. And I'll, keep watch.
Okay, Durin called them sentries, so that's what we'll stick to. This is a fairly simple puzzle. This isn't that difficult. When I first played through, I was like, man, I can't figure this puzzle out. But truth be told, it's really a lot easier than the one from the mine. We had to use the ticker to blow up and activate these triggers. This one is actually not that difficult. So now we know what both triggers do. That's the whole point. This opens up the wall that allows access to the bot here to get onto the platform. It can be annoying because he's very slow. I'm just trapping him there on the platform so I can come do these things. Don't want him moving around much. Here's a scroll fragment that even if you peer through the wall, I don't think you can see. It's just a matter of exploration. So now Quill is confronted with the task of coming over, activating this switch to lift the bot up, that it has access to shooting that trigger, which then gains me access to the upper portion of this cathedral. Damn. There's a key. One of two keys to activate that mechanism out in the main square. So this is why I do things early, because now there's a whole bunch of different enemies here that if I didn't go up to that upper level to get the scroll and everything, the scroll fragment, then I would have to deal with all these enemies unnecessarily. So you get everything as early as possible before you backtrack, because then this can happen. my other attempt to try to get that trophy, which clearly I have not gotten yet. Now I just run past everybody that I can. I'm going to put the key into the one side. And now we just have one more, and that's through this door. Now, in an earlier episode, I remember talking to you about this bar or inn that was keeping me from getting the one trophy, where I got all that stardust or whatever they call it. And that's actually here. And I'll point it out to you when we're actually inside, but it was so frustrating. And I'll actually point out the pot that I missed every single time I went looking. So again, breaking stuff nice and early so that when I do return, I don't have to worry about it and I can just run back through. So here's the pub, the bar. There's a lot of stuff to break in here. And so when you initially think that you've figured it all out, the reality is probably missing one. So again, I'll point that out to you when it shows up. There's the second key. So it appears as though everything has been destroyed. And there's the pot. That is what I missed on multiple run-throughs. Like 2 run-throughs, I think. I couldn't find it. when you play your run through, and if you are a trophy hunter or you're just interested in getting the trophies in this game in particular, please don't forget to hit that pop so you can get your trophy collecting all the dust. So I didn't even have to get on this cart. You could see that I could just literally run around the edge and up the stairs if I so chose to. I didn't even need to hop on this thing. But again, like when you're playing through something, what you played through before, sometimes you just think, or you don't think at all about the easiest route. You're just playing what you know. But just keep in mind, you don't need to bring that cart back to actually leave. There's another key. So these are the power cell batteries that we are now deactivating.
You're all clear, kid, Adurin affirmed. It should be a straight shot to the castle now. Come on! Can you open these doors too? Oh no, these are powerful arcane hexes. I can try.
So here's another scenario where I'm trying to obtain that trophy, and I could not do it. You better believe that I'm gonna try in the future. I'm gonna keep trying. I'm probably gonna have to YouTube how to do it, or the most effective way of doing it, because my methods were not working. So after each battle, this thing seems to regenerate some power. There are 3 battles here. Lucky Red. Another round over with more power.
I can't, kid! Shouted at Durin. We have to get out of here!
So now this thing will blow us to smithereens.
It's the only way!
Now let's jump down into the sewers.
I've made a terrible mistake. What is this place? What's that smell? Durin? I'm so sorry, Quill. I really am. All remained still, save for a blazing shadow poised to strike. Quill's insides felt like quicksand sinking in terror at the sight. The shape lunged, metal crashed, and Durin's light went out. Quill's beating heart drew Sarfog's attention. It was a monster of such harrowing enormity that survival seemed impossible. But then, the reader illuminated a break in the stone. Quill dove, the opening just big enough, and narrowly escaped the snap of Sarfog's fiery jaw. Instinct fueled Quill's desperate flee, littered limbs of those before her served as haunting reminders that this was where so many before her met their end. Her adrenaline waned. Trembling and anchored by a heavy heart, she slowed, stumbled, and crumpled to the cold ground. Quill had never felt more small and helpless. It would take an army to defeat Sarfog. Then, she felt a gentle touch of warmth and mustered the strength to look up. The Reader was still there, expressionless as always, but unwavering in their loyalty. Quill felt the depth of their connection, the strength that came with being twofold. They'd come so far, together. My friend, I need your help. If we don't face Sarfog now, my uncle will die. And that monster won't stop until you and I are torn apart. Will you stay with me and try?
And that concludes yet another episode of Moss. Today, Quill and the Reader continued their journey through the ruins of her civilization's past. Centuries threatened their progress, but were unable to halt their ambition. However, Quill, the Reader, and Adorn were forced to make a rash escape, and in doing so they entered Sarfog's lair and encountered the beast itself. Adorn's light vanished, and now it was only the Quill and the Reader. A brief pause of mourning rejuvenated Quill's will to find her uncle. Tune in next time to see what becomes of Quill and the Reader for the final episode of Moss. Please, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave your comments below. Until next time, peace.